Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back indeed to another episode of the Film Chill. Whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to it on the go through Spotify, doesn't really matter to me. Appreciate you tuning in as always. And of course, if you like what you're hearing, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and also follow my show on Spotify to not miss out on new published content when it releases. Today, yes, we're going to be talking about what started out as, I would say for right now, a small indie horror game, turning into one of, if not the most recognizable video game franchises in history. Yes, we're going to be covering Five Nights at Freddy's. And of course, I'm not alone for this because I had to get some friends to join me for this very special occasion. It was just fitting. It just seemed very fitting. First off, we have a returning guest in Aiden. Welcome back to the show once again. Glad to have you back.
Thank you so much. Good to be here once again. Thanks for having me back on.
And for our first time guest on the show, we have fellow YouTube content creator and good friend of mine as well, JS Productions. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you on board as well.
Yes, thank you. I appreciate the invite. Definitely had to join on for this one because, oh man, I cannot wait to talk about what we're planning on talking about. But yeah, happy to be on the show. Happy.
Oh yes, definitely. And very much been looking forward to this as well, I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Also, before we get started, stay tuned towards the end. That's all I'm gonna say for right now. Something special is coming this way. Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Megatron, what are you doing here? No.
Oh, yes. The secret hidden guest.
Oh no.
The Waspinator, get out of here.
That's a Waspinator. They want the leader.
Maybe
So-
Circus Baby will join the show.
Mhm.
Or Toy Freddy. This is fun.
The man behind the slaughter.
Oh no.
Don't for. You know how much I love pizza. This is Chica. It's a little hard to forget that because you keep reminding us all the damn time. Also, welcome. This is Bonnie.
Pizza.
I love that.
Sponsored by Wawa, by the way. That's a joke, obviously. But
Oh, yes.
Wawa, if you're listening, please. No.
Hit us up.
Alrighty. Anyways, so Five Nights at Freddy's. Let's begin with talking about how we simply came across it, because I know for me it was fairly. I'll keep it very brief. I first heard about it through a YouTube channel called Dashy Games, which, if you're familiar with that, please go subscribe to him. Absolute gem of a man. I didn't really watch like the full gameplays, but I've seen some clips here and there, and I can definitely tell like this was definitely a standout. I'm kind of like a casual fan of the franchise. I don't really know like a lot about like the lore and everything, at least for a little bit, but then like over the years I've kind of gotten myself familiar to it, like invested, like attached to the franchise, and I've been kind of digging into some lore here and there, and I gotta say, at least from what I've seen so far, definitely some crazy stuff in there.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
From the harvesting of remnant to Fazgoo.
Oh yes. Good
Oh, boy.
old Fazgoo. But I'll let one of you guys start. How you guys got into the franchise? Whoever wants to go first. Rock, paper, scissors, nuts.
All
Go
right.
ahead, JS.
Yeah, honestly, my story's kind of pretty simple. We returned back in 2014 from our cousin's house, and my brother was just talking about, this game that our cousin showed him, and it happened to be Five Nights at Freddy's. And the person that my brother showed me was Markiplier himself, which literally ever since then I've stuck with Markiplier like for a lot, like just like the casual gameplay videos. But yeah, I've stuck with Markiplier since then. But yeah, we just watched a lot of his videos, like a lot of like the FNAF 1 stuff, and then of course, FNAF 2 just came out at the time. So that was crazy to see. And I've, dabbled into playing it on mobile because that's the only way I was able to really access it was mobile. Um, but I remember the leading up to the third game was crazy because me and my friends at school, I remember like right before band class, we would be talking about the game and everything, just coming up with like theories and stuff. And yeah, I mean, I've kept up with it for I think until Sister Location. Like after Sister Location, I haven't really kept up with it since then. But it wasn't until it was like, yeah, 2019 was whenever I fully got back into it because that's when the first like guidebook came out, and ever since then I've really just stuck with the franchise. But yeah, it's pretty much been my my history with it since then, and literally that's how it kickstarted my YouTube channel was around that time back in 2019. But yeah, that's pretty much my story.
Nice, nice. And I imagine that hype must have been really crazy, especially with like the third game and everything
Oh,
like
yeah,
that.
especially, like, with, like, all the theories of, like, Golden Bonnie and all that stuff. Oh my gosh, I remember that in the days of, like, what William's name like, what a lot of people thought his name was gonna be, Vincent. I remember that was crazy back in middle school, but at the time,
Oh boy.
I knew it was William Afton because of, the Silver Eyes and stuff. But yeah, that was definitely crazy, crazy times, but yeah.
Nice, nice. And Aiden, my friend, how did you come across the franchise?
So I was in middle school and I had a bunch of friends who we were all interested in the same stuff. And the day that the first game came out, a buddy of mine brought his laptop to school and we all were playing it. We all got really into it. We started talking about it, what it all meant, whether or not the animatronics were possessed or AI, and it was really cool. And then I remember seeing the trailer for the second one, and of course, you get that shot of Bonnie without his face, and I'm thinking, "Oh man, what happened?" And of course, between each game, Scott Cawthon, the creator, is
Mhm,
hyping up the entire fan base with these cryptic little teasers, and there'd be things in the code of the website of Scott Games, and there were, images he was putting out, teaser images everywhere, and you'd have to like brighten them up to see hidden text or hidden characters and stuff like that. Um, and of course, I was already subscribed to Markiplier for quite a while before his series on Five Nights at Freddy's came out. He when he posted, I was like, okay, now I know we're getting somewhere. If Markiplier's playing it, I know this game has
mhm.
something to it. So he played it. He was theorizing, the Living Tombstone was coming out with all the songs for the games as they were coming out. They were making all the fan songs. It was them, D8 Games, JT Machinima, and that all really
Mhm,
kept me in, it really locked me into the whole Five Nights at Freddy's sphere, and so I really loved that, and I grew up with Chuck E. Cheese and stuff. So the idea that it was like one of these types of animatronics, but it was like possessed or something, and it was coming after you, really cool idea. So I really, really liked that. And I have not dropped the franchise
mhm.
since day one.
Nice.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah.
For good reason too, because again, like I mentioned at the top, it's one of I would consider one of the most recognizable franchises of all time for that
Mhm.
matter. Like obviously you have
Oh yeah.
obviously you have like the Roblox, you have the Minecrafts and everything like that, but we're not talking about that.
Right.
This is FNAF we're
Yeah,
talking about.
yeah.
Especially, I think one of the biggest things, not just with the games, but the overall merchandise too. Like
Mhm.
I'm talking
Oh yeah.
shirts, plushies, figures, posters, you name it, it's probably there.
Books. Books.
Books, yes,
Yep,
books.
books.
um, Something that I will definitely admit was, I think part of the reason why I kind of like, not just me being like a casual fan, but I admit kind of getting over like fear of like scary stuff because I wanted to get into like more horror related stuff, but I guess it kind of took me a little bit. Now
Mhm.
I'm fine. Like I can watch like horror movies, no bother. Like literally, I watched like what the Terrifier trilogy not too long ago, and I was fine.
Mhm. Yeah. It
Love
it
those
took me
films.
it literally took me a bit to get used to them, but it's just like after watching the second one, I just became numb to
Yeah, pretty
anything.
much.
Yeah, pretty much. So, yeah.
I also will admit, like, when I was in, I want to say, I think it was middle school. I remember for Halloween one year, I watched the first Paranormal Activity, and I was fine throughout the entire film. I will definitely admit, though, the ending did get me. It definitely got me. It
Oh,
got me
oh
good
yeah.
for
Mhm.
sure.
Yeah.
But for like the case of FNAF, why I kind of like held off it, Foxy scared the crap out of me.
Yeah.
Foxy is scary.
Like, cause when you're watching the gameplays or even playing it for that matter, for the most part, everything's still for the most part. Like, it's all still images. You see like still images and then like disappear, and then like you see like all the characters again. But then
Mhm.
when you get to Foxy, this mother is just running down the hallway.
It's like yeah, it's like and it's just like also too, it's like whenever you're like seeing him run down, it's like, oh crap, I gotta shut the door. But then like right as the moment where it's too late, he's just like, hello, how are you?
He just leans in and
Yeah.
yells at you.
I especially love too when like you when you're closing the doors right before he jump scares you, you just hear like that tung 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 to him
Hmm.
knocking at the door
Oh yeah.
too.
Oh my god. They really like amplified that in Help Wanted 1. Cause like whenever like the original is just like, few knocks every now and then. With Help Wanted 1 on the other hand, yeah, I got a few knocks, and then he's just scratching the door with his hook. It's like, okay, Foxy, I see you. You're angry that we didn't let you in. Chill. But
Why won't you share the popcorn?
It
no.
gets lonely over here.
Yeah, true.
I think another standout for me, I think some of you guys mentioned it briefly too, but people putting out like tons of like theory videos and also animations too.
Hmm.
Because like I know, I mean, obviously you guys are familiar with it with the infamous VHS tapes.
Yep.
Yeah, sorta. All I know is like one series, but apart from that, not really, to be honest. but
No,
but
that's fair.
I am aware of like the VHS stuff, so
Yeah,
I will say that.
I watched a few in there. I didn't watch like a ton, but some of those are like definitely as scary as like playing some of the games. I remember watching one of them where it's like Foxy's included. Who
Hmm.
else? um, but it was just like them, like two police officers investigating like archival footage, and then like at one point they like come across like an abandoned like mall or like shopping center of some sort. And
Hmm.
you know how you have like the parking garages?
Yeah.
There's like one point where like they
Yeah.
like one of the officers gets shot, but then like the other one goes after the people who did it, and then like it leads him into like that shopping center, and then you just see like Foxy running at
Hmm.
the one guy. It's all from first person perspective, and it's just like ooh.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. I remember a recent bit of hype about, a game that came out, well, that was gonna come out that got canceled. It was Five Nights at Freddy's Plus, and there were all these
Hmm.
teaser videos,
Yep.
and those things, oh man, did those look cool.
Hmm. Yep.
I know there was like some controversy with the creator or whatever, but to separate the art from the artist here,
Hmm.
wow, was that cool?
Yeah, yeah, just from like a lot of like the things I've seen from that, man, that game had so much potential, man. I really wish it could have come into fruition. I really wish it I really wish it did, but
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
It is what it is, unfortunately, but I was intrigued to see what they were going to do with that because again, that game was looking really, really cool.
Mm.
Yeah.
I remember somebody. It was like a fan made thing. It wasn't like an official like licensed video game product, but I remember seeing like brief trailers and clips of somebody taking the first game and turning it into like a real life thing. Like, what if it was like a real life
I
thing?
think I know what you're talking about. I think it's FNAF in real time.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
that one.
Yeah.
Because like you see, like when you're in the office, like the fans moving, there's like posters moving, and then like when
Mhm.
you're checking the cameras, you
Yep.
actually see them like walking off the stage.
Mhm.
See like Bonnie's like doing a 360 head, or one of them's doing like a 360 spin with a head.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The old exorcist
Yeah.
twist.
That was actually really cool to see, like, what would actually happen if you would actually see, like, them moving rather than just, like, ninja vanish and then they come back.
Yeah, and they had a
Yeah.
real 6-hour mode as well, like, play it for 6 hours, boom. Like, I've seen a few people do that, and I don't understand how you can do that.
It'd be an awesome
Oh,
Oh,
Halloween
yeah.
yeah.
stream.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
100%.
for sure, for sure. Uh, but yeah, no, just, like, stuff like that, and I remember watching a ton of, like, funny animations that people would put out.
Mhm.
One of the ones I will definitely mention here, Pymations. Good old
Oh,
Pymations.
yes. Dude, I love
Mhm.
Primation stuff. I loved it so
Their FNAF 2 one
much.
will
I don't.
Yeah, that FNAF 2 one will always be legendary, dude, like, it's just like if you ever need a good laugh, go to that video. You will have a good laugh with that. Like, it is hilarious.
2 and 3, I think, were
Yeah.
the best
It's
ones.
probably one of my favorite animations, I will definitely say.
Mhm.
Like,
Oh, and, like
Yeah, for sure.
like, the Markiplier and, like, Jacksepticeye animated videos based on their Let's Plays.
It's
Dude, that was my jam. Like, every time that they would finish a series, I remember I would always look forward to them posting those videos. It just the animators going crazy with that. Like, that was yes.
Yeah, no, it was Mark, it was Sean, it was Dashy, it was I had
Mhm.
Cupquake, dude. Oh my goodness, everybody was doing the animations after
Yup.
Mark
I
started doing
remember
it.
that, yep.
God, and thank you. I was about to bring up Dashi for a second because I remember he put out his animation too. That man's a true legend. Please go subscribe to him. And Dashi, if you're ever watching this, if you come across this, shout out to you, buddy. But no,
Why not, Dashy?
man, this little how they how they're gonna pay me $120 a week and not give me the this that.
I would love when he gets out of breath when he's yelling, but he keeps going. He's like, "Man, why they gotta keep me get out my chat."
I I just love how he comes up with like funny skits and comedy stuff off the spot. Like
Mhm.
he's prepared for every for any situation that he's in with the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, another one that I used to, like, watch, like, back when they did I mean, they still do FNAF videos to this day, and that's Dan TDM. I always love his FNAF
Yeah,
videos, like, literally, like, even, like, recently, like, I know since he's not doing, like, a lot of videos nowadays, he always said he will always come back to a Five Nights at Freddy's game, and I'm like, "Yes."
so what you're saying is that he always
He said the
comes
line.
back.
Yeah, pretty much.
He
Pretty
set the
much.
line. Now, a question that I will definitely ask you guys because you probably know about this more so than me, but how fast would you say like each game would release? I would imagine probably not like super fast, but I imagine each one didn't take too long to release.
We got 5 games in
Yeah,
2
that is
years,
true. Yeah, cause like
from 2014 to 2016.
yeah, that is true. Cause every like, in the beginning or so, they came out every few months. Cause I remember, like yeah, first one came out in August, and then the next one came out in November. Took a bit for, FNAF 3, but that's okay. That came out in March, but nowadays, I think it's, like, they still, like, release some games, like, every, like, few months and stuff. Cause I mean, we still got, like, the Fanverse stuff. We got stuff made by Steelwool, and then of course, Mega Cat with the Into the Pit game. Um, so I'd say like sometimes it could, like I said, it could be like a few months, but then I think like the longest it could be like 1 to 2, like 1.5 to like 2 years. But yeah, it's really not that bad of like, release times and stuff like that. And I've always learned to like let the game developers take their time with it
Yeah.
because I feel bad for after what happened with Security Breach, but I feel like ever since, yeah, but ever since then, they've done a spectacular, spectacular job. Even recently with the recent game, Secret of the Mimic, they did so good with that. Yeah.
Loved it. Yeah, loved it.
Gotcha. Nah, I was just wondering because, like, I know, like I said, it didn't take too long for their releases. I just was like, my memory was a little foggy in
Hmm.
terms of like the exact time frame, if you will.
Yeah, I gotcha.
You see, like, okay, one game came out, and then like out of nowhere, when you're not realizing, not expecting, just oh hey, look, another game. Oh,
Yeah,
another game.
that is.
Oh,
Oh,
Scott's
yeah,
famous for
absolutely.
that.
Aiden's right on that because, like, I feel bad for not being around, like, during the FNAF 6 time, but I remember hearing that, "Oh, yeah, Scott, let's just drop this random tycoon simulator out of the blue. Oh, surprise, it's FNAF 6. Here you go."
Yeah, no, and Scott was famous for that, but he would also do the opposite. He'd be like, "All right, so get this, okay? So sister location, right? This is a mature game and it's not going to be released to the public because of how intense it is, but I want you guys to
Mhm,
have this because you guys are so dedicated." And what happened was it was a modified version of Sit and Survive, which is one of Scott's earlier games, except the character is sitting in a like circus tent wearing a Freddy
there was
mask. And then not too long after that, Sister Location
yeah,
actually did
like,
come
he
out.
is
Mhm.
oh my gosh, Scott is a master whenever it comes to trolls. I mean, like what, Aiden mentioned about what they did for Sister Location. I remember for FNAF 3, they literally had a troll game of the jump game, whatever the heck that game is, or Don't Die. I feel like Aiden, you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like that one jump.
I think it was There
Yeah,
Is No
there's no
Pause
pause button.
Button.
Yeah. He had that game for like a troll thing for FNAF 3, and then it was just Springtrap's head. That was the only thing that was added for that. But yeah, Scott's a troll.
Yeah,
Scott's a master of being a troll. Yeah.
he really is.
Nice. Definitely imagine some history with that.
Yeah.
Before I forget to ask this, we can just talk about this briefly. Who are some of your favorite characters as a whole overall? It could be one or
Ooh.
multiple.
You could go first, Aiden, if you want.
All right. I think overall, I gotta give it to William Afton, the kind of overarching boogeyman of the series. And it's not because I like him as a character. He really is just the worst person. But he's a
Hmm.
phenomenal villain.
Mhm.
Um, and despite how inconsistent his portrayal may be, when it hits really,
Hmm.
really well. And with his character designs, obviously, that's a whole other thing that we can get into. But just how he's written, I think is really interesting because he is definitely a schemer
Hmm.
at heart, and he's a man with a plan. Even even after the whole Springlock thing, he's still a
Hmm.
man with a plan.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Oh yeah,
Foxy,
Foxy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Foxy's
Yeah.
my boy.
No, the thing about William, definitely, I will definitely agree with you. And I love how he's like written too, and especially with like how he's able to like cover up instances, like incidents, very nicely.
Hmm. Yeah.
Sweeps
And
it
that's
all
what
under the
Matthew
rug.
Lillard calls him. He's literally no, Scott relayed this to Matthew, but then Matthew relayed it to us. William Afton's the Voldemort of the series. And of how intriguing,
Oh yes.
Voldemort is, in Harry Potter, it really carries over to how intriguing William Afton is in FNAF. It's yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
But the
That
puppet is
yeah, oh
also
yeah.
great.
Oh yeah.
Kind of the opposing
Hmm.
force to Afton's schemes, really, and it's because, she was the
Yep, that
first.
is true. That is true. Yeah. And Golden Freddy too, yeah. Shout out to Golden Freddy. Really one of the most intriguing characters, especially whenever it comes to Ultimate Custom Night. Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember all the early theories about Golden Freddy.
Yep, me
Nice.
too. Um, I guess for my favorite characters, originally, um, yeah, my first ever like favorite character was Foxy. I mean, obviously, one of the coolest characters. But then,
Yeah.
um, I think it was until 2019 that's when Funtime Foxy became my favorite for the longest time. But then, hello, literally, it just switches like every single game for some reason. But whenever it came to Security Breach, yeah, Vanessa actually became my favorite, like in terms of like how incredibly interesting her character is and how interesting it's written. Um, and literally she became like my OC for a while, like on my YouTube channel and stuff. Like I had like half my face, half Vanny, and then I think ever since then it's just progressed for Glamrock Freddy to be my favorite character. And since then, it stuck with me. I just love Glamrock Freddy. I mean, what Kellen does for the character, and after doing a whole entire like rabbit hole that I went through, that he literally made Glamrock Freddy inspired by or Optimus Prime inspired um Glamrock Freddy, which is incredible, and I love that. Um But yeah, it's just Glamrock Freddy has always just been my favorite since then. He's just this gentle giant in the franchise, and I just love that. But also, he's a really cool character too. But
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
yeah.
And another fun fact that I learned, not recently, but it's been brewing with me for a little bit, was shout out to Jobby the Hong for this one. When he did his Dark of the Moon review with Kellen, I learned that um, Kellen kind of talked about how Laserbeak's voice in that
hmm
inspired Moon for Security Breach. I was like, oh,
Yep.
cool.
Yep. I
That was a nice
remember
little
that.
touch.
Yep.
And now every time I see Dark in the Moon, when Laserbeak's talking to Jerry, instead of hearing Jerry, I hear naughty boy.
No, well, I'm just imagining that now. Freaking Moon Drop just in the office at Dark of the Moon. He's like, "Don't turn off the lights, Jerry." Oh my god.
You must be punished. Pushes him out the
Yep.
window.
Soundwave's like, "That's my Moon Drop."
Yeah. As Jerry's falling, it cuts back to Laserbeak. Nighty night.
Oh my gosh, this is why I need to see like some sort of fan animation of Transformers and Five Nights at Freddy's. Like, imagine Optimus Prime and Glamrock Freddy meeting. That would be cool.
I could probably put that together now that I think of it.
Yep.
You hear that, content creators and filmmakers out there? Make it happen. No, I'm kidding.
Do it. Do it.
Greetings, Freddy. Oh, hello, Optimus. It's good to finally meet you. You as well. You know?
Make it happen, someone, please.
You heard the material first. Make
Yep.
it happen.
Yep.
No, but great characters overall. Like some of the ones you guys just mentioned. I think definitely from my side, of course, obviously Foxy is one of my favorites as well, for
Mhm.
obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Over the years, especially like recently, I've kind of developed a huge appreciation for Bonnie. I think a lot of that just had
Oh.
to do with like a lot of the animations giving him like a funny, goofy Southern accent. It's just something silly and stupid, but I appreciate it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, just Bonnie overall, and it doesn't really matter what version, just Bonnie, I would
Mhm.
say is my favorite.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm a big Withered
And then of
Bonnie
course you have
fan.
like obviously,
Mhm.
oh yeah, especially considering that like he has no face and he's just like missing an arm, no faceplate. It's just, oh yeah, no, that's definitely not terrifying. I'm
Yeah.
definitely not gonna see that at 3 o'clock in the morning.
And he's only ever cracking jokes about not having a face. So it's
Right,
cool
yeah.
to know that he's got a sense of humor about it. might as
Yep.
well face the facts. You were always destined to fail. Or he's like,
Mhm.
even I could see where you fell short,
Mhm.
you know? Stuff
Time
like
to
that.
face the consequences of your failure. I love that pun.
You blinked, you know?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like Bonnie is definitely a favorite for me over the years. Of course, you have like you can't knock Freddy, you can't knock Chica, you can't knock like some of the other characters. I'm sorry, I'm probably gonna butcher this, but you can't forget about Mr. Hippo too, my friend. You've met a terrible
Yeah,
demise.
you can't forget about Mr. Hippo.
You know, it's really funny. I was just about to mention Mr. Hippo. You know, he's a great character and he's got a lot to say, you know, and I really love Mr. Hippo because he doesn't just jump scare you. He jump scares you and then he waxes poetic about his friend Orville and his inability to eat sandwiches with his feet. Yeah.
Yes! Duke and
I'm biased though. I'm so biased. I am TikTok friends with Joe Gaudette who voices him, and he is so
Mhm.
nice. Go follow Joe Gaudette on TikTok. He is really funny, fantastic impressions, and really solid advice when it comes to doing
Mhm.
voiceover work. And as a an unprofessional voice actor, I'm really thankful to a lot of the advice that he's given me to help me kind of
Mhm.
get out there. And the impression that I do of Mr. Hippo is Mr. Hippo approved.
Yep.
So I'm happy to say that. Joe, if you somehow see this, thank you for all of your advice. Thank you for your work doing Five Nights at Freddy's characters. And also,
Yep.
hi.
I yeah, no.
And also, I'll also to give a quick shout out to Heather Masters as well. 'Cause yeah,
Yes.
iconic work for, Circus Baby and all the other characters she's played, and, unfortunately, she is retired from voice acting, but I will always appreciate the work that she did, for that time.
We thank you.
I think
She
she's a
is!
nurse
She's
now.
actually a nurse, went from
Oh, that's
Nurse
cool.
Dolly to a real life nurse.
Yeah, no, it must have
Yep.
sparked something.
Honestly, yeah. Wait, do we actually?
But yeah, no. Mr. Hippo, fantastic. And if he ever did exist in real life, he would
Peak
be
character.
a phenomenal choice to read a bedtime story or just
Oh,
a
yeah.
story in general.
Before time.
I want to hear him read Go the F to sleep. That's what I
Oh,
want to
wait, can
hear
you
him
just
read.
imagine Mr. Hippo being like, "Before time began, my friends, there was the
There was the cube. You know, we don't really know where it comes from, but what we do know is that it holds the power to create worlds, but also fill them with life. You know, and that's how our race was born. Yeah.
I can
And the
just imagine
give, give us the Mr. Hippo cut of Transformers now, Hasbro.
Yeah, again, you heard it first. You heard it
Yup.
first.
Yep.
Yes. No. As soon as Megatron dies after Sam puts the Allspark in his chest, he walks over. My friend, you have met a terrible demise. But I don't feel too bad about it though. After all, I didn't do it. It was Sam. He's the one who he didn't listen to me. So he put the Allspark in your chest, and now you're dead. But that's neither here
Yeah.
nor there.
Make it happen, someone.
It reminds me of a good time that I had with my good buddy Orville. I was like, Orville, this person Sam doesn't really listen to me well, and
Oh,
I
sure.
don't know what to do.
Meanwhile, Megatron's laying on the ground with a smoking hole in his chest. You got infamous Prime over here just telling this long drawn out story as the screen fades to black, but Megatron's just laying there dead with a hole burned in his chest. I could
Infamous Prime that's
I
Oh my
am
god.
infamous Prime, leader of the animatronobots. We are here, and we are waiting.
I could just
Oh,
I could just
jeez.
imagine as a joke, like if that were to ever happen, like the credits roll, like the credits finish rolling, you just see in like a post credit scene. There's no video; it's just audio. He does like a fourth wall break, like, "Hey, so continuing with my story, where did everybody go?
Yeah, as the credits are
Where did
rolling.
everybody go? I wasn't finished with my story."
Oh my god. Wait.
It's either that or he's just reading off the
No!
lyrics of What I've
Oh
Done by
my
Linkin Park.
Right, I'm oh my god.
So what I've done, you know,
Oh my god. This is
Uh,
beautiful.
in this
Oh
farewell,
my god.
you know, there's no love, you know. But the problem is there's no alibi.
Oh jeez.
So just shut your mouth for 1 second in your life and let mercy come and wash away.
Hasbro, hire Aiden, please. Hire.
so if you guys can't tell, you can clearly see that we have an appreciation for this character.
Yes, we love
Yep.
Mr. Hippo. We love him
Yep.
so much. An
Yep.
underappreciated gem.
Uh,
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
But a character we don't like, Helpy.
bro's like,
Where Markiplier almost died
I
when he
know!
broke Helpy's little
Dude, that was
neck.
crazy. Oh jeez.
uh, well, yeah.
That was beautiful.
No, that definitely was. 10
Mhm.
out of 10. If you didn't appreciate it after that,
Oh.
just get out of here. No, I'm kidding. Stay around.
Everyone,
Right, we
if you
don't
got
need
this
you
far in the
here.
video, type in the comments section, "We love Mr. Hippo."
Hashtag Mr. Hippo.
Yep.
Hashtag Mr.
Yep.
Hippo forever. Don't worry, I'll make sure that Joe
Oh my
Context sees it. I'll send him a picture of the comment section.
Hi, Joe, if you're watching this.
Hi, nice to meet you. We love your work.
Oh my goodness. Oh man. So, what's the next chapter of this descent into madness?
Let's spare my chin like it's subscribe. No, I'm kidding. Um, something briefly that I will talk about is kind of like a last point for now. Unless if you guys want to bring up anything before we get into like the movie section. Was there anything about like the games? Doesn't matter which one. It could be any game, one or multiple, that kind of like stood out to you as like a highlight. It could be like development aspect, a moment that happened while you were playing the game, just anything like that.
Ooh.
I've got one.
Alrighty.
Okay. You go ahead, Aiden. You go ahead.
I mean, if you got one, you go ahead.
I'll just go ahead. Okay. So this happened during Ruin, right? I was literally a few hours fresh of replaying Security Breach. Literally all of Security Breach, getting 100% everything. Cause that was my new Steam account because I lost my old one. But anyway, yeah, I replayed all of Security Breach, and I also reread all the books, like mostly the Tales from the Pizzaplex books. So everything was like fresh in my mind. And as soon as I got to the last chapter of the DLC for Ruin, I heard one moment, like I think, yeah, it was like one moment before I saw what was happening. I heard Gregory go, "The stupid door won't open." And I'm like, at that moment in my brain, I was like, no, it can't be the mimic, right? It cannot be the mimic. But as soon as I stepped into that doorway and the cutscene played and said, "I am Gregory" in the walkie talkie, right? And then the walkie was just thrown to Cassie in that moment. And as soon as I saw the mimic step out, I lost it. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, that moment was the biggest mind blower I've ever had in my whole entire life while playing the games too. As well. And also, I'll talk about, the other stuff during the movie segment, but from that specific moment, I was like, "Whoa, that was cool." But yeah, that's like my big like highlight moment from like the games and stuff. And then yeah, movie, I'll talk about that when we get in the movie section because had quite a few stuff there.
Oh, sorry, real quick.
Oh, yes.
I forgot to mention, it's not just for the game. Like, when I asked this question, this could be for anything in general, but sorry, and you can go ahead.
No, you're good.
Gotcha. You're okay. Um, what got me, and I think this is like kind of the part two of how Five Nights at Freddy's really sunk its hooks into my brain, was the intro to Sister Location.
Mm.
The other games, the only voice acting that we had was
Mhm.
Phone Guy. And so to have this black screen and all of a sudden we hear, there's no doubting that, the achievement you made on a
Mhm.
technical level. I was going, whoa, 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 whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. And then you hear this other voice. She can dance. She can sing. She's equipped with a built-in helium tank for inflating balloons right at her fingertips. She can take song requests. She can even dispense ice cream. And then the guy responds with all due respect, Mr. Afton, those aren't the those aren't the features that we were curious about. And I was like, no shot. They finally canonized who this guy is. His name is in fact
Yep.
William Afton. And that set a bunch of stuff
Mhm.
into motion.
Mhm.
Literally fully canonizing the main villain's name. Goodbye, Vincent. Goodbye. We got William Afton now.
Goodbye, Vincent. Hello, Mr. Afton.
Yep.
And I mean that game alone was full of its own kind of lore moments and big shocks, but that intro to me is what stood
Mhm.
out the most. Just hearing, with all due respect, Mr. Afton, I was what?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I loved it.
No,
Shout out to PJ Haywood.
yes, yes, shout out to you. A lot of shout outs, as you can see.
yeah.
Definitely for me, I will say the spring lock suits, just in general,
Ooh.
because
Yeah.
specifically for like animations and like short film VHS tapes, going back to that, because like when you're playing through the game, obviously you hear the phone guy talk about like what's going on, the situation, and then like if they find you, they'll stuff you in like a suit because they'll mistake you as like endoskeleton without a costume. So
Mhm.
like when you're playing the game, you get jump scared. You don't really see what happens. It's just jump scare, the static image, and then it just says like game over with like the still image of the character being stuffed in the suit.
Mhm.
But once came across some of the animations and like film, like short films, I was kind of curious to see like how would that like come into play, essentially come into effect. And the first thing I came across was when William Afton got his fucking karma that he
Yeah.
deserved, and you just
Mhm.
hear
Yo, yes.
like he's laughing in the suit, and then like you hear like the initial crunch, and then like it continues to crunch, he's just screaming, and then like oh, I could imagine that. And then like watching some of the VHS tapes, I remember one that I watched was I think it was called like Night One, and towards the end of the video, Bonnie ends up capturing him, and it happens off screen, but you can hear like muffled like screaming and like again, same thing, like the crunching of like the spring lock suit crunching into the guy's body. You can hear like the
Mhm.
grunting.
Yeah.
And I think definitely Apton's death, like through the animations, really got to me because like him screaming. I mean, obviously, again, he got what he deserved, but just
Mhm.
in general, I could just ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. I getcha.
Really interesting that whole story about that audio, because I think we're all thinking of the same audio when it comes to what happens to
Mhm.
William. Some person just came up with this, with this audio track, and And then it spread across YouTube like wildfire, and people were starting to think that it was like a hidden audio file
Mhm.
and stuff like that. I mean, it didn't help that like the guy's voice who did it, he sounded an awful lot like Scott, who was really the only voice actor
Mhm.
in the games at the
Yeah.
time. So I mean, of course, people were like, "Oh my goodness, this is like an unused audio sample of, the whole Springlock
Mhm.
incident." And it's so funny to me how quickly that was just kind of accepted as to what it sounded like and, like, what
Mhm.
it was like, that, later depictions of Springlock incidents were kinda seen as
Mhm.
inferior. But I'm thinking, the very concept of being crushed inside a Springlock suit is absolutely
Mhm. Oh,
terrifying. So,
yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really matter, how crazy it
Right.
is. The fact is, you got a human having multiple sections of sharp plastic and metal being driven into their
Mhm.
body. What a way to
Mhm.
go. That's what matters is, whoa.
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of talk about that a little bit more because I'm just now remembering from the Tales from the Pizzaplex books. Spoilers, by the way, but in one moment, I believe, yeah, there's like a story. I forgot which book it was in, but it was a story in that book where there's like a whole entire role play section. And one of them was the FNAF 3 area. Or it was either the FNAF 3 area or it was the FNAF 1 area. I can't remember which one it was, but there was a kid who is picked to be the person to be inside the Springtrap suit. And apparently, it actually was spring locked, and the kid got spring locked.
Oof.
And I'm just like, ugh, how that's gotta hurt, man. That's gotta really hurt. Like, ugh. Fazbear Entertainment should have like
That
looked at that. It's like, oh, that's a spring lock. That needs to go bye bye. No, they're just like, oh, hey, this is more for the immersive experience. Ha ha ha. Like, come on, Fazbear, do better.
Well, considering, the whole business side of Fazbear was the man behind the slaughter
Mm-hmm.
himself, it makes
Right.
sense. But, we also kind of get a description of what happens to you in the
Mm-hmm.
books. William talks about, soon you won't be able to scream because your lungs will fill with
Mm-hmm.
blood. And so he kind of goes in detail about it, which is, it's curious to see kind of the excitement with which he
Mm-hmm.
describes it, considering it's a flaw.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And not to mention too, like, digging into some of the lore. I know, like, I'm aware that it always changes over time, but, like, from what I've seen, there's, like, the section that obviously we know about, like, the kid, Michael, pulls the prank on the crying child, like, the evil prank that turned it out to be really deadly.
Mm-hmm.
When, like, he picks him up, puts him into Fredbear's mouth, and then, like, it crushes his head.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
the thing that sucked too was that, like,
Yeah.
he didn't die, like, right away. He was alive for, like, a few seconds or, like, a few minutes, and then he ended up dying after that, but, like, damn, I can't imagine, in general, just the thought of, like, your organs, bones, just ugh.
Yeah, probably not a fun sight to see at all. I mean, I'm just gonna dabble into a little bit of the movie. I mean, obviously, we saw, William was not having a fun time with the spring trap or the spring lock suit in the movie. Like, dude was struggling.
Right.
Mhm. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think that'd be a great segue into the
why,
Yeah.
movie section.
yes,
Yes.
indeed.
Yep.
Um, we'll start with the first movie because obviously that came out 2023, but that was, like, I would definitely say another big hype thing because, like, for a
Mhm.
while,
Oh, yeah.
for I wanna say, like, for a few years or so, it was unclear as to whether or not we were gonna get, like, a FNAF like, an actual FNAF movie,
Mhm.
and, let's go into marketing first.
Yeah.
I guess, like, the overall marketing, how are we feeling about that?
Um, yeah,
I liked it
I agree. 100%.
because it didn't show too much. It left the biggest surprise in the film for the film. I mean, apart from, like, the final trailer where we get kind of a shot of the yellow rabbit suit, but it really didn't show a lot of the good
Mhm.
parts of the film, and I think that's
Exactly.
important.
Mhm.
One thing I do wanna point out with the movie, I mean, both movies really, because this isn't plot related, is the music.
Da da
The
da da da
soundtracks
da
in these films,
da.
so
I
good, and I remember I remember seeing an interview, I believe it was with Dawko and Scott Cawthon, talking about, when Scott got the file for the main, like, intro theme for the film from the Newton brothers, and Scott kinda goes, "Holy cow, does Five Nights at Freddy's have a theme song now?"
Yep.
And they remixed it for the second one, and it was very, very,
Oh,
very good.
100%. Yeah. I mean, literally, like, those two are my, like, I'm gonna be honest with you. Whenever Of course, the intro in the first movie is super iconic now. It's iconic with, like, the 8-bit stuff
Oh,
and,
yeah.
like, the backstory and all that. With the second movie, I know we're still, dabbling into the first movie, but or still talking about the first one, but for the second movie, I'm not gonna lie to you, as soon as I heard that intro, like, the new form of that, I got chills and I was getting emotional. I don't know how that
The
happened,
the hype.
but, like, it's just so iconic. And it's just so good. I'm like, I figured the Newton brothers were gonna do something like that.
No,
Um,
it was kind of
yeah.
cool to see that music track appear in the second movie, like at the
Mhm,
beginning of the second movie, and then like it gets remixed. I was like, oh, cool, nice.
mhm,
Yeah, yeah. And, of course, they're starting to really kind of use the Toreador March more often now, so I'm really excited
mhm,
for that, to see how much more they use it in the 3rd film, especially with what we
mhm.
see in this one, which we'll delve
Yeah.
into in a little bit. But yeah, no, it's very, very excited for that. The main plot of the first movie was decent. I think it was a good way to kind of get audiences accustomed to the world. We get to meet kind of a new universe version of all these characters, and they made sure to keep audiences aware of that before, during, and after the
Mhm,
movie came out. This is not canon to the games. This is kind of its own thing, just kind of giving you the general beats of lore with a couple new
mhm,
twists. But, we get to meet Mike and we get to meet Abby, we get to meet Vanessa, who in the films is now the daughter of
mhm.
William Afton, which is an
Yep.
interesting twist. Um, of course, we get to meet William Afton, played masterfully by Matthew Lillard himself, our main man Shaggy.
Mhm.
Applause to him.
Gotta love him.
Um,
Yep.
Nice.
he
Yep.
always comes back. Absolutely. Of course, the most important character of the whole movie,
Yes.
Doug.
Yes.
The most important character in Five Nights at
Which I'm
Freddy's
gonna
lore.
which, you know what? I'm dabbling in FNAF 2 again. I am so glad he made an appearance in this film. I was not expecting it.
It was a quick
I was not
turnaround.
expecting it, but I loved it.
No, but I'm like, "Wait a minute."
It's Doug!
And I hear, "If you need a lawyer," I was like, "No." And then it was like, "Yeah."
This is the guy, right,
Um,
who had like the
Yeah, he was like,
uh,
greatest look on his
"I shouldn't
face.
be
Yeah.
hearing this."
yeah. I just realized I shouldn't be hearing any of this.
And then
Gotcha,
and then
gotcha.
MJ's like, "Sit down, Doug," and it's just like, "I wanna get out of this situation."
It's like, "Leave him alone." Of course, I think one of the biggest things we should talk about the first movie is the
Yes.
Oh, for
animatronics. The
sure.
not only
Yeah.
just the way they were put together, but the way
Mhm,
they were written. So, first off, if you're gonna get any company to do your practical effects, Jim Henson's Creature Shop is the
mhm,
way to go. And they've gone from Muppets to Skeksis and the Dark Crystal to the creatures of the Labyrinth to now animatronic creatures. They did the Ninja Turtles in the 90s. And now we get to see them at their
yep,
best here, creating one-to-one versions of these
mhm,
in-game models. I
absolutely.
could not be more
Yeah,
impressed. And the sound design for him too was really good. I think the sound design team giving them all different, like, sounds when they
mhm,
move is a really smart idea. Like, Foxy sounds very sharp, and Freddy sounds really
mhm,
heavy. I love
Oh,
that.
yeah, no, when they were, like, moving around, that was really cool. I was really, really impressed with how close they were to, like, how you see them in the first game. They looked really good
mhm,
overall.
yeah,
I know a lot of people were really upset about the red eyes. I
mhm,
didn't mind them. I do think the little white pinpoints of light would have been scarier, and of course that's what people expect. But I get why they did it, is to kind of show when they're, actually possessed.
Yeah.
When they're actually being inhabited by the spirits. That's why
Mhm.
they do that. It's a visual cue to show that they're actively
It
And
being
it
makes
really
haunted.
and it really got me
Um,
thinking
Go ahead.
during the second movie too, because a lot of the animatronics most of the time, like, from, like, that last hour, like, the last part of the movie, they were possessed, and, like, it really showcased that. I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I see what's going on here. This is not their normal eyes. This is their possessed eyes."
Mm.
No.
Yeah. No,
Yes.
I didn't mind that too, and it makes sense too, because like it showcases different expressions
Mhm.
essentially with them. It was a nice way to like implement that.
Yeah.
I love that their eyebrows move now too. I
Mhm.
love that. It's not something we saw a whole lot of in the games, but like if they're really kind of focused on something and they're like squinting and they're like when they look at William, when they realize that he's the person that killed them and stuffed them into the suits, as they squint at him, their eyebrows kind of move down and they look angry. It's those little things that I really like about
Mhm.
their behaviors. For a controversial scene, a lot of people were really upset about the whole fort thing. But I think a lot of people overlook the fact that these animatronics are possessed by the spirits
Mhm.
of children. They're kids. So of course they're gonna wanna build forts and just kinda hang out and have fun, because that's what they do. That's what kids
Exactly.
do. They're having
Exactly.
fun.
I'm so glad you brought up that scene because I will argue about that scene till the day I die because that is one of the most amazing scenes that they have ever done. I mean, like you said, they're kids. They love doing this, and also, like, their lives got taken so shortly from them, from William, so it, like, makes sense of why they wanna do this, and they're doing it with Abby as well, like, they're connecting with another kid that I guess know in some way, but the way that Bonnie like, does this and then just falls from the chair and puts his thumbs up is the most cutest thing I've ever seen,
Yeah.
and it gets even crazier in the book, by the way. It gets so crazy in the book that literally all the animatronics, like, I don't know who has who, but, like, some of the animatronics are literally carrying them on their shoulders, and all of them fall off and do this. I'm like, "My heart is melted!" Like, it is one of the craziest scenes, but I love it. I love it to death. It's so sweet.
It really, really is. And I mean, to get into kind of a previously discussed topic here, William
Mhm,
Afton, right? The way they wrote this character, so, so good. When we get to meet William, he is in his element. He knows that he's in control. He knows that he's already gotten away with everything. So we kind of get to see him kind of playing with his food, for lack of better words. At first, he's just kind of keeping up the con going, but then he reads Mike's last name, and given what we learn about William, that, he kidnapped and killed Mike's little brother Garrett, he takes a look at the name and
mhm.
then he kind of leans forward and looks at Mike's face and he stops mid sentence and then he switches up tactics. He reaches into that toolbox and he pulls out a new manipulation. So instead of kind of criticizing him like he was, he stops and just goes, "Coffee?" He didn't even catches Mike off guard. Sorry, what?
He's
Uh,
just like, "Coffee?"
yeah, I just made some coffee. Would you like some coffee? you know, and then we kind of get to see him kind of dial himself back in and funnel Mike into working at Freddy's, so he can kind of get that symmetry that he's after. Of course, it does work eventually. And we also get a better look into William's mind here during the first phone night, the first night phone call when he's
Mhm.
talking about, I guess the owner's kind of a sentimental guy. It was really a big success with the kids in the '80s. I just can't bring himself to let it go, I guess. And he has a really uncomfortable laugh.
He's like,
Um, But that's one side we got to see, but at the end, we get to see William in, like, really, literally in his element. He's wearing the Yellow Rabbit suit, which is kind of his instrument of destruction, if you will, and he
Mhm.
walks in, you get what sounds like boss fight music, and, we get to see William truly believe that he's indestructible at this point. Because of that, we also get to see his downfall. Really, it was kind of a humorous way that the whole Springlock sequence was kind of brought about because it was, at the fault of Mr. Cupcake,
Yep,
the rabid dog
that
that
is
is
true.
Mr. Cupcake.
God, I gotta tell you that leading to my next question of what were some of the standout animatronics for that first film. I will definitely say Foxy and
Yes.
Cupcake for sure,
Yes.
Mhm.
especially that Cupcake.
Yep,
Just oof.
Mr. Cupcake was
absolutely the
ridiculous
cupcake.
in this film.
Yeah. Very, very, very devious indeed. Yep,
hmm
But
yep.
I agree, Foxy, 100%. What a way to start off the movie, too. Yet another performance by
Mhm,
our idol here, Kellen Goff, who voiced Foxy's diddly
mhm.
dums in the film.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
Did-a-dum-dum-dum,
So, yeah,
did-a-dum,
and I love
did-a-dum-dum.
that though, because they kinda wrote a new tune. Like, I was fully expecting them to just reuse da-da-dum-dum-dum, da-dum-dum, but no, this one sounds a little more like a pirate shanty, because 'cause you'll hear down the
Yep.
hallway, you hear da-dum-dum-dum, 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 diddly-dum, and as he's walking, you hear him kinda continue on to himself, just ba 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 da
Mhm.
and
I
I think
love how he does like
go ahead.
oh sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead.
I was just gonna say I love how he like kinda exhales in between.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Kinda hear like the yep da da da
Yeah.
yum dum.
Yeah. Oh, we gotta add to that too, during the scene where the break-in happens, I love that they added in the FNAF 1 jump scare with Foxy's jump scare.
Yes.
That is such a
Yeah.
great Easter egg that they implemented in, and I love that.
What got me though, there was a specific shot in the first movie with Foxy that I absolutely adore. It's during this whole confrontation between Mike and William, and you see the ghost child who possesses Foxy standing in Pirate Cove, and he backs up behind the curtain, fades into the darkness,
Mhm.
and then Foxy walks out. I was like, "Ah!" It
What
was
a
beautiful.
that was literally a great cinematic
That
shot. I love that so
that was
much.
probably my favorite shot in the movie, apart from William walking into the pizzeria in the suit.
Yeah.
Very good use of like invisible editing, I will say.
Yeah, and it was so seamless, it was so smooth, just he backs up and then Foxy steps out. I was like, "Oh, okay. Alright.
Yep.
Okay." That was it's
Yep.
peak cinema. My hands are up. Peak cinema. Uh,
Yep. Absolutely.
Going back to the break-in portion,
yes.
I love when after the guy, the one guy sees his buddy again getting attacked by the cupcake, and you see like Chica looking over at him. He starts running. He's like freaking out. He runs into a closet, and guess who's standing behind him?
Good old
Bonnie.
Bonnie.
Good old
That
Bonnie.
like that one shot of like him trying to turn on the light and the literally the flicker of the moment whenever we see Bonnie, it's like, oh shoot, he's doomed. And then literally gets destroyed by him. But whenever Bonnie exits that like cabinet area, all you hear is just a honking junk of metal walking out of the closet, and all you see is
Yeah.
yeah,
Interesting little
like
detail here. They changed how Hank dies. They changed how Bonnie kills Hank. Because what we do know about what happened to Hank is that Bonnie breaks his arm and just basically smacks him to death. Um,
mhm.
Originally, Bonnie was actually gonna grab his guitar and stab it through Hank's chest and then pull it out from his
Oh
back, and he was
jeez.
gonna fall to the ground dead. So they did change that. In fact, that was kind of what he did to audition for the film, was,
Mhm.
kinda act like he was gonna run and then get stopped and he looks down at his chest and then kind of gets, he pulls back and then he falls down because initially Bonnie was just gonna run him through with the neck of his guitar.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of funny. It's a stupid, silly little detail. When he hits him with the guitar, you just hear like the
Yep.
Yeah. That would be funny, but at the same time, it's like, what in the world?
Speaking of,
Something too about that scene. I didn't. I guess it didn't really click with me until like I came across it. Was like I know they explain like how Bonnie likes to hide in closets, and then like when that scene happens, it's like, oh, cool.
yeah,
Yep.
he was following his in-game
Oh,
MO. Um,
yep, that is true.
yeah.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of deaths, I think there's a pretty important one we could get to here. The
Yes, go right
ever
ahead.
controversial for some reason spring lock failure that happens to our main antagonist here. What are your thoughts?
I predicted that would happen. Literally, whenever I made my prediction video, I predicted that was going to happen, and it did. But at the same time, but during that, I'm like, oh man, but it literally just thinking back on it now, it's like it makes sense, because like they needed that to happen for the third movie to have that plot taking place.
Yeah.
And like especially at the end of FNAF 2, which we'll of course I imagine we're gonna get to that soon. Um that Springlock scene, now thinking about it, needed to happen at that moment. And of course, I'll go back to another thing as well. But in that moment, that's when the souls they did a FNAF 3 good ending moment right there.
Yes.
With both the Springlock scene and with the animatronics.
Now, of course,
100%.
a lot of Five Nights fans were very, very disappointed because it wasn't as crazy or as graphic as people, I guess, hoped it should have been. However, I think Matthew Lillard's acting in that sequence is
Mhm.
kind of what really drives it home for me. Um,
Mhm.
because, you can see that after like the third or fourth one, he's really struggling to breathe. He's out of breath and he's fallen to his knees and, his limbs get kind of jerked into place. Um,
Mhm.
and so I love that. But we also, despite the fact that it was PG-13, there's a close-up shot of one of the spring locks snapping into place, cutting through his shirt,
Mhm.
and then it
Yep.
slowly kinda sinks into his torso. I was like, "Oh,
Mhm.
ooh." It was that close-up shot
Yeah.
that I was like, "Oh." So I think with that close-up shot, it definitely
Mhm.
did kinda help give it a little bit more of that brutality that was needed. But people were like, "Oh,
Yeah.
it should have been way bloodier." Not necessarily.
And I
Yeah.
could forgive it, being, PG-13 because half of the fandom is adults and then half of the fandom is, fans who are kids. And I could see that because they don't like Scott and I imagine the others are trying to keep this in mind that this is a film that wants to appeal to both audiences and not just one. And they don't want to gatekeep from, a single, type of thing. And they're still doing what they want to do, which is, portraying what story they want to tell and of course like what other things they want to do as well. But they're not gatekeeping the the movie from one side or like the other side. They're keeping it to make sure it's watchable on both angles. And honestly, it's 100% fine and
Yeah,
understandable. And I get that
Mm.
100%.
and what
And
about
that's a
you?
great way to look at it too.
Yeah,
um, I don't mind it. Now again, keep in mind, I'm was a casual fan of the franchise at the time. I didn't really know too much about the lore until like obviously after watching the movie, I went back and watched like that animation of like obviously the Springlock suit. And like initially watching it was like honestly didn't bother me. Like I know the first film gets like a lot of mixed reviews, as we kind of touched on briefly. But honestly, like for me, I didn't mind it overall.
Hmm. Yeah.
I especially love, like, obviously you could tell he was in pain, but instead of just like freaking out as the suit's locking into his chest and like he's bleeding, like you imagine it's not a good experience.
Mhm.
He just like struggles to reach over. Right before he puts the mask on, we get the iconic line, "I always come back," which I didn't even think was an iconic line until like I saw later on like how much people were reacting to it when it happened.
Mhm.
It was such like a honestly a really cool moment for how much of like a villain he was. So just him saying like I always come back, and then he puts the helmet on knowing what's about to happen
And then you
in the
hear him
Mhm.
future.
lock in as
Yeah.
well, and the eyes start flickering. Yeah, I was like, "Ooh."
Ugh.
It makes me wonder though, the movie isn't perfect. I do have some questions, especially about the yellow rabbit suit, right? So
Mhm.
without the mask on, there's nothing connecting the head to the rest of the suit. The same goes for the limbs. It's a kind of yellowish tan coveralls, like Michael Myers would wear, except they're kind of yellowish tan. And then it's all held together with elastic bands between the body shells. There are
Mhm.
no endoskeleton pieces before or after the spring locking, apart from the ones in the torso that are visible between the
Mhm.
shells. So I'm thinking, so how does that work? And like what mechanisms are in the head that would, drive into them? Now,
Mhm.
I've seen some pictures from a certain scene at the end of FNAF 2, and there happens to be quite a lot more visible endoskeleton on a certain character. And
Mhm.
so that raises more questions. But the other gripe I have is why would he say I always come back from like a logical standpoint, right? He hasn't died before. He doesn't know that he'll come back.
I have a theory about that, by the way, which I think I saw. I think I might have saw this, but it's like a theory that I've saw. But um, I'm just gonna dabble, yeah, to FNAF 2 a little bit. In FNAF 2, we did see that dream sequence with Vanessa, and it was believed that he did. I think it was. I think she did believe that he did die, or no? Oh, I don't know, because like I don't know. Just thinking about it's just not making sense now. But like I don't know. She did believe he died, and that's why he like ran away and became Steve Raglan, but at the same time, it kind of contradicts what happened in the first movie because she knew that her dad was still alive. I don't know. I don't know. Just scratch what I said. Just scratch what I said. It's like now thinking about it, it's not making any sense.
Well, but even still, I'd still give the movie like a solid 7, 7.5.
Yeah.
I think for me, out of 5 stars, I would definitely give it a 3.5. I mean, obviously, yeah, it's not perfect, but I don't hate this film by any means. It
No.
was just like a, I guess, a casual viewing for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, the film is still. I would say it's fun. I don't hate it as much as people are being like, "Oh, this is that," and then I'm like, "It's not terrible.
Not
Yeah.
at
It's not
all.
terrible."
I'm gonna I'm gonna be the slightly optimistic person. I give it a 5 out of 5. I
Okay.
honestly do.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's fine.
Yep.
Yeah,
All
absolutely.
good.
If everybody had the same opinions,
Yeah.
it would be a boring world.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
I think another reason why I give it that is because, perfect segue. We can finally now delve deeper into Five Nights at Freddy's 2,
and
Yes.
the
so it
most
begins.
recent sequel. Yes, the sequel that came out, well, at the time of this recording, about 7 days ago, I wanna
Yeah.
Yeah,
say,
about a week ago.
but
Yeah. Mhm.
whenever this gets uploaded is when it's a fairly new movie, basically, still at this point, so
Mhm.
we will we're gonna get into spoilers for this, so if you haven't seen the movie, a quick non-spoiler thing, I really enjoyed this movie. I would definitely say it's better than the first, but not without some nitpicks that I have here and there.
Mhm.
That's all I'll say.
I
Yeah.
would say
No.
it's probably tied for my favorite film this year. Um,
Mhm.
it was that and Predator Badlands that are tied for me. Very, very enjoyable film. again, to agree with James, a couple of nitpicks, but other than that, I really enjoyed this film, and I definitely enjoyed it more than the first one. That's not to say I didn't like the first one,
Mhm.
but this movie, if you're a Five Nights fan, is peak cinema, especially if you're a longtime fan. I I feel like an old man now because the franchise itself is over a decade old now. It's gonna be 12 years old
Stop it!
next year.
Stop it! Stop! Nope! 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 No! Stop!
I can't believe it. 12
Damn,
years next year.
where has time gone by?
Hey, I need my walking cane now and my crutcher thingy. Where is it?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Let me get my freaking walker. I'm gonna end up like Peepaw Afton, man.
That's what I was thinking.
Where's my
Yeah.
wheelchair at?
Wait, time. Come back.
Yeah.
Come back. No. No.
Don't leave me here. But now we can get into the
So-
nitty and the gritty.
I was gonna say for my
Yes.
my spoiler free thing. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie a lot. The audience reaction that we had during the movie, especially the last half, that was literally on par with Spider-Man No Way Home. I'm just saying. Like that was crazy. But no, yeah, I think it's equally as good as the first one, but a little bit, a little bit better too. But there is like one thing I will talk about whenever we do get into spoilers. But overall, I'm gonna give it a 9.9 out of 10.
Nice.
Yeah. All right.
And with that being said, getting into spoilers, that entire opening sequence was absolutely cool. It was so cool.
Oh yeah.
Considering the fact that they finally show off, they explain in the film like how that's the original location, and
Mhm.
you have like that whole thing with Charlotte, finding out the truth behind William Afton, what he's doing to children here and there.
Yeah.
Oh, it's oof.
Literally that opening cutscene or that opening scene. I'm just going to talk about it like crazy. So yeah, opening scene. I love what they're doing with the 1982. It's literally on the soundtrack. It's called Shoogaloo, whatever. It's something like that. But I love the soundtrack that they did for that. I love seeing the environment of Freddy Fazbear's Pizza just absolutely thriving and seeing how it was back then, not just from a videotape, but from like an actual like experience of what's going on. And I'm going to mention right away that there has been some Easter eggs in that scene right away, specifically with the arcade machines.
Yes.
And if you are familiar with Five Nights at Candy's and Pop Goes, those were the mini games that was in it. And one of them was Pop Goes Arcade, and also Candy's First, something like that. It's one of like the mini games that they have for Five Nights at Candy's, but it was still really, really cool to see the fan verse being implemented into the movies, which was incredible as well. Then, and of course, the whole intro bit with the song and everything, I thought was brilliant what they did with that.
Oh, for sure.
Another thing I want to point out here, kind of the way it sets up the whole like kind of triangle of problems caused by William, right? So obviously we see him successfully lure a kid away, and then we get to see how that gets all intertwined with Charlotte, and we get to see the fact that Charlotte was friends with Vanessa. So of course there's always going to be conflict there. And then when she finally does carry the kid out onto the stage and nobody's still paying attention, because she tried to get people to pay attention when she was trying to say, hey, this kid just got, taken to the back rooms. She just lets out this scream of rage and then she just falls forward. But then we get to see like 3 big freaking stab wounds in her back, and it's like, oh, we're in a new game now. Okay. And then of course the trap doors open and she falls in, and I love the shot of the puppet coming out of the trap doors holding Charlotte in her arms.
Oh, for sure. And how are we feeling about the overall idea of the puppet being a big plot device throughout the film?
Love it. so
Okay.
much.
I love that more that I think about the puppet, the more it's like, okay, this is interesting because if this is kind of taking inspiration from the game route and that basically that the puppet was the first, like what they mentioned in um the games, then that's a really, really cool like detail in that. They also implemented the music box, which is the thing that makes the puppet um be calm. Cause literally in FNAF 2, in order to not keep her from moving, you have to wind that music box. And with the music box, being tampered with and being turned off. Thanks, Lisa. McKenna Grace, love your acting in that. Um, yeah, it was very, very intriguing. And it just like makes sense. It's like, okay, the puppet's out, the music box is turned off, she is angry. And I think that's definitely the thing that made the puppet how she was. And also too, it really reminded me, like the whole entire time I was in the theater, I was getting reminded me of like the vengeful spirit that we've heard about in Ultimate Custom Night. I'm like, ooh, this is giving me vengeful spirit vibes here and stuff like that. But yeah, like I said, to finish my statement up, um, overall what I thought of the puppet makes sense to me. And I love what they did with her character.
Mhm.
Absolutely. Absolutely. They really emphasized Charlotte's importance to the story, which I really liked because in the most recent games, much like William, Charlotte's kind of been left off to the side. We see her in 2 and 3, but that's about it, really, when it comes to, like, her importance, she's kind of been left off to the side, so the fact that they're circling back around and kind of establishing that she is essentially, while, yes, she's the first victim, she's also kind of the polar opposite to William. She was able to give this gift of life to these kids that were killed. Yes, they were stuffed in the suits, but that's not what caused them to possess the animatronics. It was the puppet giving them life to allow them to,
Hmm.
possess these things. And we get to see kind of her hold over the entire location throughout the film. And I love
Hmm.
that. I love that so much. They show that, with how much rage and agony was left when she died, made her incredibly powerful.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I always like thought the puppet was definitely one of the most powerful characters in all of FNAF. Of course, like a lot of the psychological and possessive things of like possessing the animatronics, but yeah, I always thought, especially with like the Give Life minigame and just like a lot of things, the puppet is one of the most powerful characters. And I think they really, really, really showed that. Because I'm gonna be honest, FNAF, it's got its horror elements, it's got its story elements, but also it's got its psychological and like mythical side of it, type of some way. Like there's more to I'm just gonna say it, there's more to them than meets the eye.
Oh, yes.
I'll just leave it at that.
Oh, yes.
Indeed.
Yeah, while we're talking about the puppet, we gotta talk about the possessions.
Mhm.
Absolutely terrifying, especially
Oh, for sure.
given kind of the downplayed horror in the first one, to see, like, possessed Lisa come crawling out from, from behind the box
Mhm.
with the puppet
Oh my
limbs
gosh,
and,
yeah.
like, the glowing yellow eyes, the black, around her mouth and eyes, and the purple streaks forming. Really, really creepy image, and the fact that whoever she possesses floats is really cool.
Really good sequences overall.
Oh, yeah.
100%.
I really like the how they portrayed the puppet overall because like it was normally like with the lore too. I remember the brief but talking about how like during like the whole franchise of like Fazbear Entertainment, along with William, there was I think Henry Emily, I
Yes.
believe is the other guy's name. And I like
Yeah.
how they talk about how the puppet was used basically to help guard Charlotte from like escaping because obviously he couldn't watch him himself because he had like a lot of work to do, but he also didn't want to like leave him at home. So basically, he designed the puppet to program it to like watch over Charlotte, and then like the whole incident of I guess like the people who kind of bully Charlotte, and then like they prevented the puppet from getting out, and that's how like William was able to basically kill Charlotte because like they locked him outside of like the pizzeria building, and that's how William killed him. But I also kind of like too how when the puppet was able to get out, even on its last limbs, getting like short circuited, trying to find Charlotte and finding her like on like a street corner somewhere, kind of like lays on top of her
Hmm.
before like shutting off. And it was a nice, interesting take too. Like I said, how they portrayed the puppet in this. All right,
Yeah.
I'm just gonna say it. Wayne Knight was a standout for the film just because of he was a douche, massive douche.
Yeah. Literally, Toy Chica. You know what? I'm just gonna say this right here and there. The voice actors for the animatronics did a fantastic job. Megan Fox was amazing.
Ooh, yeah.
Kellen was brilliant as Toy Freddy. Oh my god, that was terrifying, but I loved it. Matt Pat was awesome as Toy Bonnie. Absolutely loved that. But I think, yeah, definitely the standout performance for me. I mean, all of them are brilliant. All of them are absolutely brilliant. Holy crap, I can see why they casted Megan Fox as Toy Chica. Her voice is wow.
I have to
Yeah.
say this here. I told you so. There are so many people in our friend group who are like, "Oh man, I don't Megan Fox, really?" I'm going, "No, you guys don't understand. Toy Chica's
I never doubted
personality
Megan.
in Ultimate Custom Night was like straight ripped from her performance in Jennifer's Body." So
Mhm.
the fact that they actually got Megan Fox to voice Toy Chica was perfect, and I agree. She was the standout performance with the toy animatronics. One, because she had more
Yeah,
time, but two, just she did such
mhm.
a good job.
Oh yeah, I never doubted her performance for a second. I knew immediately there was a reason why she was casted, and I've said this to so many people. It's not because I'm just gonna say the whole inappropriateness with Toy Chica and Megan Fox is disgusting. It really disgusts me. But like, if there's a reason why she was casted, there is a reason why she was casted.
Yeah.
And she sounds exactly like Toy Chica. And she did such a phenomenal job. And I never doubted her for a second. Because, like I said, I thought she was absolutely brilliant in that.
While we're
Loved her
talking
performance.
about the toy animatronics, we got to talk about Toy Freddy's voice here. Kellen Goff,
Oh yeah.
we love you, my man. We love you. It was so funny hearing a very glam rock Freddy voice coming out of Toy Freddy, but I get why they did it. It would not have
Hmm.
been as impactful as
It
Steve
kind of took me off guard, not gonna lie.
if Toy Freddy went if Toy Freddy with these red eyes and this like foreboding music went, "You all left me to die. You all did." It would not have worked the same as if he just goes, "You left me to die.
No.
You all did." I was like, "Oh, whoa." But it still worked for Toy Freddy somehow, which is weird. I guess because he's like a big character, you expect kind of a
It
bigger
really
voice to come
did.
out of him. Matt Pat as Toy Bonnie didn't have very many lines, which
It
was
really did
unfortunate,
work for him.
but I really liked Matt Pat as Toy Bonnie.
Oh yeah. I
Yeah.
remember in the theater, like I was with my friends and they were like, that does not sound like Toy Bonnie. I'm like, or not Toy Bonnie. Oh my god, that does not sound like MatPat. But I'm glad they gave him a different voice because so people are not like, oh my god, it sounds just like him. No, I'm glad they gave him like a different like voice and stuff, so that way it's not too recognizable. But like Matt definitely did give his taste on the character, which I thought was really really cool.
Kind of took me off guard for a second, but again, I agree with Aiden. It worked out good because, obviously, I feel like people were going to be expecting the whole "this is fun" kind of voice, but then you just hear that, it's just like, oh shoot. I heard something about like Matt Pad not really being like a good toy, but I think a lot of it just has to do with like what Jay was kind of mentioning. But honestly, it didn't bother me because, especially considering now, this could be just from like animations going back to that again, but Toy Bonnie kinda had, like, a higher pitched kind of voice for her like, the voice box, and it again, did bother me because it kinda worked for that too.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I gotta say, I preferred Matt Pat's voice that to the UCN or AR voice. I hated Toy Bonnie's voice before then because he just sounded like a robot chipmunk. I hated it. So to kind of have it be slightly lower and not as heavily modulated, I think was a really good choice. And Matt Pat's deliveries on his lines were really, really good.
Mm-hmm.
I prefer Matt Pat as Toy Bonnie, to be honest. And Mangle. We have not talked about Mangle yet.
Oh yes, we need to talk about Mangle.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, he was a stand. That was a standout for me. Mango was the standout for me.
Mangle was the. I'm gonna be honest. Mangle was the cupcake of this movie. Like you know how what
Yeah.
I mentioned was
Rabid dog.
like you know how the cupcake was. Yes, literally. I mean, literally. I'm just gonna talk about the podcaster scene with that. Mangle did not hold back on Tio's character. I literally see what Doc mean by them pushing the PG-13 limit.
Yeah, yeah.
They pushed it. They pushed it.
To have like parts of him hit the ground. I was like, what? I couldn't believe it. Because
Yeah.
you just hear, yeah, and you just see these limbs fall to the ground and then his torso. I was like, whoa. And the fact that Mangle didn't speak was really cool. It's like you got all the other toys that talk and they sound very family friendly, except for Toy Freddy, who sounds like he came straight from your nightmares. But Mangle just went. I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, no,
And-
I was gonna say like Mango didn't talk. Mango almost sounded like he was like or like it was roaring.
Yeah.
Almost.
Yeah.
It had like
They did kind of give them like their FNAF 2 because they don't talk throughout FNAF 2. I mean, they do talk in Ultimate Custom Night. I think I could be
Yeah.
wrong on that, but I loved how they didn't give how they kept it with like the FNAF 2 type thing, and yeah. Mangle is terrifying in this movie. And can we just talk about the moment that when Mangle is on the top of Vanessa's car and whenever Vanessa brake checks, all I can hear is, I'm in Roman around. That one song about it. It's
See
Toy Freddy.
Freddy
It's like,
turn and be like, huh.
you're just like, huh. Like, that was so funny.
I loved that so much. That whole like car sequence was really, really cool. The little moment where, right after Vanessa crashes and she's kind of catching her breath, and then all of a sudden you get like one of Mangle's limbs smashing through the window, and then this giant hand coming through the other window trying to grab her. And then you see Mangle on the top of the car looking down. I was like, whoa. While we're on the toy animatronics and kind of on some of the kills in the film, Mr. Berg. What a way to go out. Toy Chica grabbing him by the head, saying she wanted to see what's going on in his head. And you just see her hands get closer and closer together while she's holding his head. His glasses hit the ground. She goes, just as I thought. Nothing in there. I was like, oh, yo. She didn't have to do him like that, though, because she reached through the door window and threw him across the room.
that was funny to see.
Oh my goodness. Toy Chica was a freaking menace in this film, and I was here for it all the way. Oh my goodness. One thing that I do want to point out before we move on to the withered animatronics is that the toy animatronics in this film are Springlock suits. That's really interesting to me. Because there is a moment towards the end of the film that we see Toy Chica's like chest start to crack. And of course, we find out the puppet was in there. And every time we see Chica after that, we can see her whole endoskeleton torso, and it has the spring lock mechanisms, which is a really interesting thing to me because it's like, wow, that was never even like considered. Because they're supposed to be new, so like why would they be spring locks? I don't know. That's the thing. I think all of them, to be honest, I think all of the animatronics in the film universe are Springlock suits. Because if you remember, her name was Tina. They had another endoskeleton for the set of the first one, and her name was Tina. And
Wasn't it?
she was basically. What's up?
Wasn't it Ella? I'm thinking it was Ella.
Well, Ella was there as well, but there was Tina, who's just a straight up Endo 01 with the cage around the torso and then the
Oh.
spring locks there. But she was the same endoskeleton type as the rest of the animatronics. So I
Okay.
think what they're going for is that all of them are spring lock animatronics.
Yeah.
Really weird to think about.
Mhm.
On the Wizards.
Real
Yep.
quick,
Yeah.
real quick, before we get to Withers, you want to talk about taking me off guard with something? How about that brief cameo by Circus Baby?
I thought we were going to get to the dream sequence a little bit later, but yes, dude, I left my seat. I'm not kidding. It was reclined and I still left my seat. I was, what? I had myself a
I've
dashy moment.
dude, I went like I'm pretty sure the people around me heard me scream circus or I was like, "That's Circus Baby!" And there were and I literally hear the people like next to me, not the people I was with, but like other people next to me. It's like, "Oh, that's Circus Baby!" And I'm like, I was not expecting that.
The thing about Baby, this is something I've been really excited to talk about. Her eyes were green. This means at this point in the story, we know Elizabeth, one, exists in the film universe, and two, that she's
That is
already
true.
gone. So, and I did
That she's
find a picture, I'll send it to both of you, of the Afton family.
yeah, please do,
Definitely.
so I can see. Ugh.
So, let's see here. All right. And if you look right next to Vanessa, touching Michael's face, you will see another little girl with blonde hair.
Mm.
There we go. So now you both have it.
Here, if you don't mind, I could show it right
Yeah.
here on screen.
Yeah.
Also, the
Okay.
digital de-aging on William here, fantastic work. Looks like a young
Mhm.
Matthew Lillard.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, you can just barely see her in this picture for some reason. But she's behind Vanessa, reaching out and kind of brushing Michael's like face or shirt, which is
I
really
see
interesting.
that.
Um,
I see
There's
that.
gonna be another photo I send once we start talking about the end of the movie. Yeah, the dream sequence was really cool. Got to see more Matthew Lillard. Loved him.
Mhm.
Again, seeing Circus Baby was really, really cool. I thought it was kind of interesting that she's kind of employing Mike's kind of dream tactics from the first movie. I love that. And, of course, as the film gets on, we start to see more and more action with the human characters as well as, the animatronics. But one human in particular, the security guard of the original location, Mr.
Yep.
Michael Afton. Now, I
Yep.
had theorized that that's who that was. Everybody was saying it was Jeremy. I'm like, no, he
Mm-mm.
looks off. I think that's Michael. And sure enough, it
Yep.
was Michael. And what an actor! Oh my goodness, he did such a good job.
Mhm. Yeah, as soon as like his entrance in that one scene, I heard the name Michael. I'm like, oh my gosh, I know who that is. Like, I knew right away that that was Michael Afton. And what surprises me is that no one knew in like, besides, my friend and stuff, like no one else in the theater knew who Michael was until he revealed his name at the end and everyone exploded. Like, it was crazy. Again, the whole audience reaction we had during like the last portion of the movie was crazy. But I don't understand. Literally, as soon as I heard, the name Michael during that part, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, this literally is Michael Afton. And also, it also debunks that Mike Schmidt is not William's son, and it's a
Yeah,
whole different
yeah,
family.
we know the Smiths
Yeah.
and Aftons are totally separate now. But another thing I like is
Hmm.
you look back at the first movie, the security tape for the second location had the name Mike on it. That wasn't for Mike Schmidt.
Hmm.
That was for Michael
That was from
Afton
Mike Afton.
because he was working at
Hmm.
that location. And then, with Michael, of course, he's kind of trying to keep up William's legacy, which is an interesting idea.
It didn't click with me right away that it was Michael until, like, obviously later on when they reveals them as Afton, so I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
That- I know about that. I kind of pulled like a DiCaprio when he in that GIF when he's like sitting on the train and then just kind of like it's like ooh ooh.
Had a Captain America moment. I understood that reference.
Yes, indeed. We can kind of talk about the Withers now. I just
Yes.
wanted to bring that up briefly.
Yes. Yes.
When they wake up, the sound
Ooh.
design. I was like, ooh. I mean, no, I
Ooh.
was like, ooh. I didn't expect that. Like, I thought Withered Bonnie would have kind of like a metallic kind of hiss to how he moved. No, the fact that he snarled like a metal like dragon, I was going, oh no.
Yep.
um,
Mhm.
again, Jim Henson's Creature Shop nailed it. They're 1-to-1, and
Mhm.
I could not be happier with how they turned out.
Mhm.
Without getting into it yet, because obviously we're gonna get to it later on. But I kind of all I'll say for now is I kind of found it interesting how they described them as prototypes. That's
Yeah.
all I'll say.
Well,
Yeah.
it makes sense. And that has to do with another moment in William's workshop during the dream sequence. We see
Mhm.
that classic Freddy from the location in the first movie is identified as Freddy Fazbear 3.0. We know the toy animatronics came after the Withers.
Mm.
So, yes,
Mhm.
in a sense, the Withered animatronics are the prototypes of these characters. So
Mhm.
Mhm.
we know that the Wizards are kind of the first generation of Freddy, Foxy, Bonnie, and Chica, which, as we know, were also Springlock suits. So the Wizards,
Also,
Mhm.
I
as far as the movies are concerned, are Springlock
Mhm.
suits, which is a cool little thing.
I gotta
Right.
add something too.
Yeah.
Whenever Mike was putting on the mask and stuff, or like before he even would do that, I got so giddy whenever I saw the Wizards doing their iconic poses before Mike even puts on the mask, or like even in the games before we put on the mask. Like literally, Freddy was doing his iconic thing.
He was
He was
reaching out.
doing this. And then I think Chica was doing her T pose at some point. I think she did her like T pose, but dude, as soon as I saw that they were doing those animations just like in the game, I thought that that was incredible. Also, can we talk about Balloon Boy for a second? He got what he deserved.
Yes.
Every FNAF, literally, he got what he deserved and what every FNAF fan wanted to do. And Mike was like, you know what? I'm just gonna stand up. I had enough of this Balloon Boy because I saw him in the first one. You know what I'm gonna do for the second one?
He
Boom.
wrenches his head back and forth, rips it off his neck, and throws it down the hallway. Blue Boys just stood there
Well, the,
laughing at him. He's like, "All right, I've had enough."
but then it leads into the reveals of the Wizards for Mike, which was awesome to see. Oh, and then seeing Wither Bonnie in the vent, like his pose too that he does in the vent was iconic as well.
Yeah, it's like they had
Yeah.
covers on the vents, which was cool, and I love that we get
Mike
to
was
see
like,
Mike like
"Where's the
rush over
doors?"
and put it back up.
I love how Wither Bunny just busts through out of nowhere. He's just like trying to
Mhm.
reach through.
Yeah.
I imagine he pulled a Joy of Creation and just while he's in the vent, just punched the grill of the vent off. Um, speaking of
Yeah.
the
Oh, yeah.
environment, wow, the office looked amazing.
Oh my gosh, it was so like the games. I couldn't okay, I'm gonna be honest, it was kinda hard to tell at first from the trailers, but as soon as we saw it in the movie, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I am brought back into the game. This is crazy, this is scary, but I love it at the same time." Like, literally everything was replicated one to one from the game, even, like, the location of the Celebrate poster, the lights were on there as well, like, what you could press
Yeah,
on, in the game. That was so accurate to the games, and it was so crazy.
I'm gonna say something that might be controversial for a lot of Five Nights fans. I couldn't care less about the layout of the rest of the building, as long as the office looks good, which was one of
Exactly.
my big nitpicks with the
Exactly.
first film. I didn't like the first film's
Mhm.
office, especially considering he wasn't in there for very long. The rest of the building was really cool. Same with the second movie. The location looked great. It made sense. And then, of course, you had the office kind of at the end of a hallway. I love that they joke about, where's the door? Oh, there are no doors. He goes, oh, of course. Um, I loved that. But the office itself looked amazing. And then we actually get to go back to the location from the first one, which was really cool to
Yep.
see. And all the ceilings have fallen
Yeah.
in from the end of the first movie. And they can't find the classics, which we'll get to, because oh boy, was this the most unexpected part of the film.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yes,
if you guys want to
definitely
get right
indeed.
into that, we can.
I'm just gonna point out, whenever they went to the old location, whenever they find that Freddy plush, they pressed it and they did the meme heart, heart, heart. I'm like,
Yes.
I was like, are you
Yes.
joking?
I
I was literally
lost
like,
it
are you joking?
Everybody in my theater did the same thing. We were just laughing like crazy. um, before we get into that, I kind of just want to touch briefly more on like not just the Withers, but like the homage to the second game, because like similar to the first movie, they paid homage to that. I found it cool, like how like they did the whole idea of like scanning, like
Yes.
whenever he puts the mask, and
Mhm.
they kind of like scan the outline with the others, and it's like it goes green, like he's an animatronic. The moment that withered Foxy showed up, I instantly thought of the Pymations animation. I thought they were gonna reference that.
And have
They
they
Yeah.
kind
kind
of
of did,
squint at
but
the
I
other
don't. They kind of
animatronics?
did. Yeah,
Yeah.
I was just like, ooh. Oh, and before I forget, Shadow Freddy, Shadow Freddy,
Well,
They
Shadow
also have
Bonnie.
Shadow Bonnie too.
or
And
Shadow
Shadow
Bot.
Bonnie. Mhm.
Yeah, for a split
Yeah,
I
second,
don't
that
think I
was like,
saw that.
I lost it again. I was out
I
of my seat.
I think I think I was like the only person around me that noticed that. And then whenever I think it was also my friend that noticed it too, but like everyone else was like, wait, that was Shadow Bonnie? Like, what the heck? Like, I'm not even joking. I think whenever I was pointing out the Easter eggs and stuff, like to, my friends and stuff, and just kind of like thinking in my mind, I think I was just thinking the person right next to me was like thinking, oh, this person knows her stuff. So I'm just gonna repeat it. But like every mention I would say, it's like, oh, that's Circus Baby. Then I just hear the guy go, oh, that's Circus Baby. And I'm like,
Echo,
I
Echo,
just said that.
Echo, Echo.
Yeah,
What's this Echo doing in the thing now?
yeah, exactly. Um, oh man, Shadow Bonnie was really a blink and you'll miss it thing, and I love that it was there for just that little bit, because it's one of those moments where you go, "Did I just see what I think I saw?" You know?
I knew immediately. I knew immediately that was Shadow Bonnie, and I flipped out, dude. I flipped. I honestly thought that they were gonna show like the other ones, like the other Easter eggs, like the endoskeletons, but I'm like, you know what? That's okay.
Or
That's fine.
JJ.
Oh, I didn't even see JJ at all.
No, they
Not that
didn't.
I'm
They didn't
aware
have
of.
JJ in the film, as far as I know. But how cool would that have been?
That would have been really, really cool because I know that she was definitely one of the big Easter eggs in this game, or like in
Mhm.
FNAF 2. But yeah, just
Speaking
chilling
of,
under the desk.
yeah. Speaking of animatronics, the confrontation
Now,
in the house when the toy animatronics are getting ready to attack under Michael's orders, and then you hear da-dum dum dum da-dum
d-
dum dum da-dum dum dum diddly dum. And we get to see, dude, what Foxy was
man,
aura farming for a second there, and then he finally grabs Toy Bonnie, pulls him through the window, and stomps on his face and blows his face plates apart.
Toy
yeah.
Bonnie got what he deserved.
Yeah, but
Toy Bonnie got what he deserved.
man, what a way to go!
Speaking of Bonnie, how about Mangle's death? Just
Bonnie went
rips him through the
ham.
thing.
I know, dude. I remember during my theater, like of course, like I said, the audience reaction was out for it was crazy. Like literally everyone was just like
Oh, but here's what got me.
like I
Yeah.
said,
It was the fact that
it was
Mangle
like,
had what happened to it happen, like what it did to Tio's character.
I
Got
know.
dismembered, and then
Yeah.
Freddy pulling a Megatron on Toy Freddy, wrenching his torso off his legs, lifting it up, and then throwing it on the ground. I was like, the age of the toys has ended. No more false Freddys. join me. uh, I love that, and then of course
Oh
with
my god.
with Chica grabbing Toy Chica by the head and pulling her head off, and then you just see her body hit the ground and twitch. It was great.
Chica's like, you call my best friend a bad girl? You're about to see death.
She had a Ripley
They do it
moment.
so
She said, "Get away from her, you bitch!" And pulled her head off.
it was so cool to see them doing like it was fast too, the way that they like because like with Freddy, it's just like whoosh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
But then, of course, the perimeter lock engaged. They lost all their power, and they moved on, which was
Mm-hmm.
cool. You know, I was like, "Oh, yay! They finally
Little,
they get to leave."
little
They're
FNAF
free.
3 reference right there.
Yeah, yeah. I
The
was
good ending.
the only thing I was
Yeah.
thinking of during as they're kind of falling to the ground one by one, and their eyes are shutting off, is the empty masks on the ground,
Oh yeah.
Mm.
But
and
it's
then
such like I always saw like this FNAF 3 ending was such a bittersweet ending. Like they're
yeah,
finally free of like the pain that they've been through for the past like who knows how long. Like it's so good to see that. And also Grant Freely making a return. That was awesome.
yes,
That was really, really cool.
Yeah. That was cool to
Yeah.
see. Great unexpected moment. I I'm like, there's no way they're gonna do this. There you go.
yeah.
Yep.
There's no way they'll do this. It's completely ridiculous. Oh my god, they're doing it, and this is
Yep.
completely ridiculous. I love it.
What?
um,
What?
Wha Yeah, having another Dashy moment. Um, so the end of the movie, you know, kind of leaves us on a cliffhanger with Vanessa being possessed by the puppet. Possessed Abby
Mm-hmm.
earlier in the film, really creepy. Piper Rubio did a great job with that, but now we've got Vanessa possessed
Mm-hmm.
out there. But then we get this group of 3 guys in red coats walking into the old location. And one
Mm-hmm.
guy who walks off to the back says, "Guys, you're gonna wanna see this." And the first thing I thought of when I saw these guys walk in with, like, a cargo dolly was, "We found one, a real one."
One
And then
the
one of them
real one.
actually says it. I was like, "I knew it!" And then it's like, "Oh, it stinks." I was like,
I remember I rem I remember at the theater whenever he was in the back room area where, he was,
Yes.
I was like everyone was like, "Please show him." I was even screaming, "Please show him." And they did, and when they showed Springtrap, the FNAF 3 Springtrap, oh my god, dude, I lost it. Everyone lost it. Like, we were all like, "Oh my god, yeah!" Like, it was oh my god.
Dude, that
This was
shot
like a
though, our shoulders kinda sunk when they threw the plastic over him. We're like, "Oh, they're gonna save it for the next one. No!" And then the credits start rolling, but then it just you get that shot of him under the plastic and the eye lights up. I was like, "Oh."
Mhm.
Ooh.
I have a picture of the puppet that they used for Springtrap.
Oh?
I dropped my phone because 'cause I'm too
Oh,
excited
no.
to show you guys. Uh, it's like almost a full body look at him, which is cool. Now initially, and I have since rescinded this opinion, I didn't like the look of him because I thought the head was way different. I was like, "Oh, I don't like the proportions on the head. That doesn't look good." But then I actually went and found a high res image of that close up of his face from the end of the film, and then compared it to the
Mhm.
actual suit from the first movie. No, it's definitely the same suit. So my my opinions are rescinded. But if you look at his hand
Mhm.
there, the one that's poking out of the plastic, you'll notice he's missing the correct segments on the correct fingers. So he's missing the end of his middle finger
Mm.
and then the second segment of the shell over the endoskeleton on the hand. And then
Mhm.
just at the bottom, you can see the bare endoskeleton legs sticking out of the bottom of the shin shell. So I'm going,
Yeah.
"Oh boy. Oh dear. Oh, we're gonna get peak."
They're-
Yep.
Um,
oh yeah.
Yeah.
and then of course, as the credits roll, we get "It's been so long." by the living tombstone.
I knew that. I knew they were going to do that. I knew they were going to do that. And also, I feel like it 100% confirms they're going to have Die in a Fire for FNAF 3.
Yeah.
I have a feeling Die in a Fire is going to play.
Yeah. No, and I
That's
think that's
another
what's gonna
iconic
happen.
song.
I think at the end of the third one that at some point Mike and Vanessa and Abby are gonna figure out how to get, William trapped either in the vents or under something heavy, and he's gonna be struggling to get
hmm
out like a rabid animal, and they're gonna set the place on fire. And as they're walking
Yep.
out, you just hear them go, you know.
Mhm.
I
Oh
Yep.
think, and
yeah,
then of course
for
Yeah.
sure.
cut to credits, and then you get die in a fire. I have very, very few complaints with this film. The structure of it was a
hmm
lot better than the first one. The pacing was definitely a lot better. A lot more action, a lot more jump
hmm
scares, a lot more violent. As we discussed earlier, I'm surprised that they're able to get away with a PG-13 rating. What with all the head crushing, dismemberment, stabbings, all of that stuff. I'm surprised we able
Yeah.
to get a PG-13 movie out of that. And the possessions were really disturbing. A lot of
hmm
the dialogue was really good too. I really liked hearing Charlotte through Lisa's voice say, "I don't hate you, but you need to stay out of my way," which of course is a
Yeah.
Mhm,
classic UCN puppet line. I loved that so much.
Which I didn't
mhm.
realize that until it was mentioned, and then whenever I heard it, I'm like, "Oh, that makes so much sense." I think I'm gonna go ahead and just talk about my only negative complaint about the movie because I only had one. Um, and I wrote this down for my only dislike, and I said the only thing I was not a fan of was how Mike acted towards Vanessa, which whenever he said he was gonna try and fix her. And then towards the end where Mike said for her to go away, and that was so devastating to hear. Yeah, that whenever he said, "I'm trying to fix you," oh my god, I was like, "Excuse me, Mike? You're saying what?"
He really
And
is an
then
I can
whenever
fix
he
her
said
guy.
and then, like and then whenever he said to stay away from us, I was like, "Oh my gosh, like, why would you do this?" And I remember everyone at the theater was like, "Boo!" And then, like, a bunch of other stuff, but yeah, that was like, after reflecting on that, I just did not like how he was towards her, and that was,
Yeah,
like, kinda, like, my only thing, but apart from that, that was, like, my only, like, complaint I, really have, but it's just so tall not tall. Oh my gosh, it's so small of, like, a complaint, but you
Mhm.
know what? The good outweighs the bad for me, so
yeah.
I'll just say that.
I agree though.
Gotcha.
I agree. It didn't make any sense for him to turn like that because he knew that William was crazy. He learned firsthand that Michael was crazy, but he knows Vanessa isn't. But he still was
Mhm.
freaking out about her, and I didn't get that.
Right.
I feel like for me, a lot of that just had to do well, that's just what I noticed, like, maybe because of the simple fact that, didn't mention anything about I mean, obviously, he mentioned about, how the father was a monster, but they both knew that already. Just Michael just showing up out of the blue, I feel like just unexpected, but I definitely agree with how it was handled. I feel like it could have been a little better. Um, Overall for me, like I said, I really like this film more so than the first. Like, definitely made me jump more for sure. I
Mhm.
love the look of the overall restaurant, the animatronics, similar to the last film. Fantastic. Yeah, they do they implement a lot of the horror cliches with people tripping over and then falling to the ground, stuff like that.
Mhm.
I think my biggest issue with, well, not issue, it's more of a nitpick than anything, was I kind of wish they focused more on Abby's story, or not Abby, sorry, Vanessa's story. Because,
Mhm.
especially when you're watching, some of the marketing for this film, it looks to be like it's centered around Vanessa more so. Like, she's more of the main character in this one more so than the last.
Mhm.
And they kind of do that a little bit, especially with the dream sequences, which were really cool to see. The opening sequence at the beginning. I thought that was really interesting to see. And it would have been kind of cool to, I guess, focus more on that. And I get it. Obviously, we gotta a lot of catering, and you gotta still, because Michael and Abby are still a part of the story, so you don't want to lead them off to the side. But yeah, I kind of wish it they would have focused a little more, expanded more on Vanessa's story, especially with her history,
Mhm. Yeah.
considering her father is an absolute asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been cool to see.
But again, that's probably like my biggest nitpick with the film. But overall, I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think we all enjoyed it for that
Oh
matter.
yeah. Oh
Absolutely.
yeah.
I do think it'd be
Yeah.
interesting if the third movie was really centered around Vanessa, especially considering William's return. I think it'd be cool if instead of Mike kind of leaving him to burn, it was Vanessa. Shoot, you could reference the
Mhm.
meme, Vanessa, don't leave me here. As the
Yeah.
building's crumbling around them in flames and stuff.
Which I
Oh
do have a
yeah.
feeling that this third film is definitely going to center around the Afton family a whole lot more, especially since FNAF 3, obviously, that's the game where Springtrap is the most, you know, active character, like, the
Front and
only
center.
one that can literally kill you in the game.
Yeah.
Yep, front and center, and I do have a feeling that he is definitely gonna be more prevalent in this film, as well, which I'm very, very intrigued to see. I think another thing too that I'm going to maybe defend on my part is the ending of the film where it's like so abrupt. Honestly, I
Yeah.
can forgive that because they did that with Security Breach Ruin, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, what happened here? But like, I feel like with these types of endings that we're going to be getting, it helps the viewer theorize more about what's this going to happen because again, Scott and stuff. He is a master whenever it comes to for people to theorize stuff. And with like the abrupt ending we got and everything that we have, it's definitely going to give the viewer to theorize a whole lot about what this next film is going to do or heck even like the other parts of like maybe this film as well and the whole story. But yeah, for like that abrupt ending, I could completely forgive it because I've seen that before with, FNAF in general, like in the games and stuff. But yeah, I just kind of wanted to get my take on that for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's abrupt, but like in the case for this, it's for a reason. It's
Yeah.
not just like ending it just to end it because like, oh hey, we ran out of ideas and now we gotta like we're just cut it there.
Right.
But we're just gonna cut it there. Done.
Yep,
Cut
We have
fine,
done.
we
everything.
got enough.
Yep. All right, go home.
All right, let's go. Pack up, everybody.
Yeah, pack it up, pack it in. Let's move on. No, I definitely think that a second movie in a trilogy needs to have a cliffhanger because it's kind of
Mhm,
it's a long bit of suspense before the final act. It's definitely it's an
mhm,
act of showmanship. The first movie,
mhm,
they didn't know if the movie was gonna be successful enough to even warrant a second one, even though they were already all signed up for a 3-film contract. They didn't know if the studio would actually, like, follow through with that because they were taking a pretty big gamble. That's why at the end, Abby's like, "Can
mhm,
I go back and see my friends?" And he goes, you know what? You never know what might happen." 'Cause they literally didn't
mhm.
know if they would be able to make a second one. Second one comes out.
Right.
Mhm.
We finally get the ending where it's like, "Oh, no, everything's coming into play now." Third one, I think, is gonna be an absolutely incredible ending.
Mhm. Yeah,
Mhm. Yeah.
definitely, like, if I had to give, like, what the ending of this film feels like, it's like Empire Strikes Back, Hunger Games, Catching Fire, and Mockingjay Part 1 because those ended off on cliffhangers. I'd say, like, a whole bunch of films that left on cliffhangers, like, I can literally compare that to that. Like, it's crazy. It really is crazy. But then it leads more to the hype for the next movie,
Yeah.
which is I'm intrigued to see.
I'm most excited for
Oh
the
yeah.
next one.
Mhm,
Oh, yeah, sure. I'm definitely down to go see it. And similar to first film, we can give like a brief rating. And I think for me, I'm just going off what I have on Letterbox. I gave this film the exact same rating as the first one, a 3.5, but it has a slight edge only because again, it's a little more jump scarier. The animatronics still look really good, a lot more action, violence. With my only nitpick for me was that I kind of wish they focused more on Vanessa's story,
Yeah.
but I feel like that's something that could
mhm,
definitely do more so in the third movie.
mhm. Yeah. Again, I'll just say 9.9 out of 10. Like I said, the only thing that was a little to me was again, how Mike acted towards Vanessa, but overall, great movie. I loved it.
I I've been saying it's a 10 out of 10. Um, and I think, given what we've talked about, I'm still gonna say it's a 10 out of 10. I loved it.
Yeah.
I
No,
really
Yeah.
that's
do
fair.
base it not really off of kind of reflecting on it and stuff. For the most part with this one, until I watch it a third time, because I've seen it a second time, it's how I feel when I walk away from the movie. You know, like with the
Mhm.
last night, I would have given it a 2. Transformers last night,
Yeah.
I would have given it a 2 because
Mhm.
I felt dead after watching that movie. I was like, that was atrocious. I can't believe this is the last one he's doing. I am sick to my stomach. This one, I walked away from it with a couple of friends, and we did not stop talking about it for a couple of days.
Mhm.
So I am very, very certain in saying I would give this film a 10 out of 10.
Mhm.
Again, tied for me when it comes to best movie of the year between Badlands and FNAF 2. Now, that could end up getting overthrown because in a couple of days I'm gonna go see Avatar Fire and Ash, which
True.
would be
That is true.
another good
It's coming out.
podcast episode is talking about Avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I do need to rewatch the first 2 films, and then yeah, I do plan on seeing the 3rd one, with my brother, but yeah,
I've only
that
s-
would be fun.
I've only seen the first film, but I wouldn't mind talking about the other ones, giving you like my overall take on that. That'd be
Yeah.
some definitely an interesting episode for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mhm.
For me, obviously not my movie of the year because obviously I think definitely for me, Superman was my standout movie for the year. It's mainly just because the film I was looking forward to the most, and it got me satisfied with like not necessarily that like Superman, but more so that like it's a step in the right direction for DC because I
Mhm.
feel like DC needed a major win and might have found its footing here. However, I will say FNAF 2 is definitely going to be on my like my movie like ranking list for 2025. I don't
Mhm.
know where exactly yet, but it's definitely on my list for sure.
Yeah. FNAF 2 is definitely my number 1 movie of the year.
It's up
My
there
number
for
1.
me. It's up there for me.
Yeah.
Speaking of
Mhm.
supers, did you guys see the teaser trailer for Supergirl?
Oh
Not
yes.
yet. Not yet. But I plan to. I do plan
There was
to.
not enough of a tease of the character that I'm going to see the film for, but we got literally 6 frames of him in the trailer, and he looks perfect. If you know who I'm talking about, you know why I'm hyped.
I have
Mhm.
an idea.
The main man, shall we say. A
Yeah.
certain,
I
cigar
did see the
smoking, gun toting, motorcycle riding space bounty hunter, played by none other than Jason Momoa.
Oh yes,
That's a
indeed.
dream role too. I'm like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah, it was nice to see him like finally get the role that he wanted, but that could be for another time. But I definitely saw the teaser. I'm excited to go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll send,
Alrighty.
I'll send that your way.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say I was gonna send you guys the image that I was able to snag from the teaser.
Yeah, I'll definitely be watching the trailer after we, finish.
um. So to kind of wrap things up and conclude, FNAF, just Five Nights and Freddy's in general, whether you're looking at video games, the books, movies, one of the most recognizable franchises of all time. Movies were overall really fun, and like the games. Oh, before I forget, sorry, JS, did you want to talk about the book for a little bit, or?
Yeah. So, the book, I will say if you are new to the franchise, I highly recommend, of course, getting into, the game and stuff. And the Ultimate Guide is definitely one of the like most recommended things because this is the most updated one that came out a few weeks ago. And this covers everything up to Secret of the Mimic, which is the most recent FNAF game. It doesn't cover the movies, but yeah, this thing is really, really good because it could talk about like, game guides and all like different, theories and all that stuff. But yeah, if you are getting into the series, I highly recommend this book. But yeah, this thing is beautiful. It is thick, but yeah, it's really, really, really good. And yeah, and all the books are pretty cool as well. Like Tales from the Pizzaplex, Fazbear Fright, which is one of the most interesting book series out there. But yeah, and also if you are into comics, they do have graphic novels on the books as well, which is awesome stuff. But yeah.
Nice, awesome. So, if you're into that, definitely go check that out, give it a read. And yeah, so to conclude, Find Out to Freddy's still a standout franchise, especially in today's time.
Mhm.
Now, another thing before I forget, that little special thing that I kind of teased at the beginning. Yes.
It's all coming together.
Yes. So, not too long ago, I recently just hit over 100 subscribers at a very
What?
fast rate, mind you. Greatly appreciated, by the way. So, as a way to thank you guys, I couldn't think of a better thing to do than for my very first giveaway.
Yay!
Now,
Oh,
what could I possibly giving away, you may ask? Good question. One of you lucky viewers, not just you, and not you in the back, and not even you all the way in the back across the street, all of you have yourselves the opportunity to win a free Transformers Age of the Primes Leader Class Onyx Prime.
Woohoo!
Now, I already own this figure. It wasn't difficult for me to come by. I had just happened to come to Target at the right time, at the right spot, right time of day. But I'm not sure if it's easy for you guys to find or if it's a little difficult. But don't worry, you guys have the opportunity to win this guy for free. Now, what do you have to do in order to enter this giveaway? Well, very simple. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel. Feel free to leave a like on this video or anything else, like any of my other content. But most importantly, comment down below on your favorite aspect on the Transformers franchise and why. This can include, but not limited to, characters, plot device, artifacts, music, faction, anything like that. So yeah, to revisit, subscribe to the channel, like the video, optional, but most importantly, comment down below your favorite aspect about Transformers and why. This giveaway is going to run for about a week from when this video is uploaded to about 7 days from now. Essentially, is when the giveaway will run for. And again, I'll leave all the details post editing, like when you'll see it here, and I'll also leave it in the description as well.
Mhm.
Unfortunately, this is only going to be a US thing. I'm sorry. If you're not in the US, I'm sorry. You can't win. You can't enter. Only just because it's my first time doing something like this. And yeah, I'm sorry in advance, but I wish you the best of luck and hopefully finding this guy. But if you are in the US, then congratulations. You have a chance to win yourself a beautiful figure, I will say.
Mhm.
Speaking of lists, definitely in my favorite figure list for this year for sure. Hey, how's it going? This is the future entertaining nerd post editing for the FNAF recording video that we just did for both YouTube and Spotify. Um, as you guys saw, there's a giveaway going on currently for the Age of the Primes Onyx Prime. And I know I mentioned in that you have about a week to do it, but instead, what I'm going to do is rather than having it just go on for 7 days, I'm going to extend it to the end of January because I just realized that I'm coming up on the 1 year anniversary of doing episodes for my podcast on Spotify, The Film Chill. So you have until the end of January to enter for that giveaway, and sometime in February, in celebration of me being on Spotify for a year, I'll announce the winner that way. So definitely you have plenty of time. Don't worry. No need to rush, no need to stress over it. So you have until the end of January, January 31st of 2026 to enter for the Onyx Prime giveaway. And to recap briefly how to enter, subscribe to the channel, like the FNAF video that we did. That's more of an optional thing, but if you do end up liking it, truly appreciated. But most importantly, comment down below your favorite aspect of Transformers and why. Just wanted to put that in briefly and past entertaining nerd, take it away. Let's conclude the FNAF video. So that pretty much wraps it up for our review and retrospective on the Five Nights at Freddy's franchise. Again, if you like the content that you're hearing, make sure to subscribe to the channel, follow my show, The Film Chill, on Spotify to not miss out on new published content. And JS Productions, Aiden, thank you guys so much for joining me. This has been a very fun conversation, and it was very fitting. I couldn't think of other people other than you guys to join me for a very fun and monumentous occasion for something like this.
Yeah, it was an honor. Thank you so much for inviting me on. This was absolutely fun, and I am more than willing to hop back for another episode. This was fantastic. I enjoyed this.
Definitely, we're
Absolutely.
gonna have you back on for sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me back on. Thank all of you guys for watching. Again, be sure to throw a subscription to this man's way. He's earned it. Let me tell you, this guy, I have not met a harder working
Yes.
individual. So, all right.
That hit. I didn't make
Yep.
it. No. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in as always. And as always, again, we will see you guys next time. Take care, guys.
Bye, y'all.
Bye bye.